What's poppin', everyone? You got your coach of the Chim Chargers here today with our Week 4 battle of the WBE. And we are currently 3-0 right now in the league, so we're doing really well, undefeated so far, so that's nice. Let's just try to focus on, keeping up the win streak, seeing how we do overall. And I'm really feeling more comfortable with the team, so I'm liking it a lot. It's a very fun team, and yeah, so let's get right into it. So we're gonna be taking on my boy Sacred, coach of the Chicago Buffalants, and his squad here, as you can see, consists of Mienshao, Amoonguss, Rhyperior, regular Kyurem, Arcanine, and Mega Aerodactyl. So definitely looks like a bit more sort of, I guess, a fatter build than some of the other ones that we've faced this season, for sure. I guess mainly in comparison to last week. Last week was just like some offense, a lot of offense, I guess. This week, right, we gotta take on some fatter mons like Amoonguss. I definitely anticipate like Arcanine to be bulky, intimidate. Rhyperior is going to probably be a Spadef set so that it could take hits better. Maybe Kyurem's like Sub Roost, and yeah, then Mienshao probably a Scarfer with the Aerodactyl being his mega Pokemon for the team. Two potential rockers in Rhyperior and Arrow. I think it's going to be Rhyperior because he might not want to fit a slot on that for Arrow, but he might, who knows. I don't really sense a Defogger on his team, any kind of Defogger. Like, I guess Arrow could possibly be, but I don't know if he'd waste a move slot for that. Potentially he might, but I don't know. Otherwise, just getting up rocks on his side could be cool because half of his team gets chipped 25% by rocks. My squad here, as you can see, so I decided to bring the Rotom, of course. Rotom has just been a really great member to the team overall in terms of defogging, and I'm running a Choice Scarf defog set so that it can actually be faster than Mega Arrow. The speed on Rotom is going to be very crucial into outrunning Aerodactyl, so I have that. With defog, a Registeel set here that I actually coined right now for this match. It's a very fun set. So if you guys remember back in the last season of WBE when I had Suicune, for those that are new, this should give you some context, but I brought a Suicune that had Sub, Protect, Toxic, Scald, I think, and that just broke down an entire team. Not for the purpose of stalling, of course. This is for stall breaking. Fatter teams and stuff, like for fatter teams, you want a way to chip things down easily, and that's exactly what I did with Registeel here. Registeel is Sub, Toxic, Protect, Ironhead. Not as a stall Pokemon, of course, like I said, a stall breaker mon, kind of. So it just tears things down with Toxic and Protect, as it wears it down, so that we don't have to try to actually like wall break something with a Pokemon like a hard hitting mon. We can just wear it down, and it'll be that. Really great versus stuff like the bulky Arcanine, Rhyperior, and things like that. It basically just covers everything, and Amoonguss can't touch it at all. It can't break its sub with an attack after he subs, so it's beautiful. It's a beautiful set, hoping that it puts in work here. Then I have a Azumarill, which I decided to bring, of course, obviously for the fact that a lot of his team is weak to Azu, and if he brings in Amoonguss, we have the potential to belly drum and hit it with a super effective Ice Punch attack. So we do have the Azu in the back for that late game clean. Ditto I brought here, even though he doesn't really have any sort of big threatening setup sweepers besides maybe Hoenn Claw's Arrow. I have Ditto, which is actually a Quick Claw set. Didn't feel like getting locked in because I figured just having freedom of clicking moves is actually better in this matchup than a Scarf set, in my opinion. And then I have Victini, which is Electrium Z, in case he brought Tapu Fini. He didn't bring Tapu Fini, so that Registeel set is looking pretty clean. And then I have Dugtrio to just trap stuff as and when I can. So my overall game plan going into this match was to lead Rotom, try to get momentum, trap things that I can, like maybe trap Arcanine with Dougie, Kyurem with Dougie or something like that, and just try to get Registeel behind a sub, or maybe Oz with a belly drum. So let's just get right into it and see how we do in this match versus Sacred here. So as you can see, he decides to challenge me, and this may or may not be his first mistake. The classic Emvee line right there. Now he leads up with the Mienshao, I lead off with the Rotom here, and because he led Mienshao, it leads me to believe that he is indeed a Choice Scarf set, so I'm going to just sort of scout for that and go here into my Ditto. I did not want to take a knockoff on Rotom because it's slower as a Choice Scarf mon than Mienshao, so I went into my Ditto. He knocks off my Quick Claw, perfectly fine. I get to show you guys the Quick Claw Ditto. Shout out to that. I didn't mind losing an item there, and he switches out here into Arcanine, leading me to believe he probably is actually Choice Scarf. So I'm going to go for the U-turn. We got a good piece of information, getting the Mienshao's, I guess, sort of moveset, and Arcanine finding out that it's Intimidate. We get off the momentum there with U-turn, sort of using his own Mienshao to pivot into Rotom, and then using Rotom to pivot out of Amoonguss as he switches out. So we sort of trapped him in the Vortex there with the nice Volt turn. We get to go into Registeel now, and this is beautiful because this is the Sub Toxic Protect Registeel that I mentioned at the beginning. So he goes into his Rhyperior. I figured he'd either Spore or do something like that, switch out into Rhyperior or Amoonguss, and not Amoonguss, so into his Arcanine or something. And now we are, of course, guaranteed to be faster. Get off the faster Toxic, and Registeel being behind the sub as he clicks Rocks is beautiful because this allows Registeel to just beat this thing 1v1. He can still do it either way, but it kind of shows us that this Rhyperior is really bulky. It's a bulky Rhyperior set. I can go for the Protect here to get some health back and get some chip damage on Rhyperior. Important for Registeel to keep clicking Protect and stuff because the way that Registeel keeps itself healthy is through protects and leftovers. Doesn't really have a reliable recovery move, like other than rest, I guess, but that's not really good in this matchup. He's at this point probably regretting that he's not brought Tapu Fini because Tapu Fini's Misty Terrain would have helped him out a bunch here. But Registeel, however, is going to be able to come through for us. As you can see, you know, he got off the Earthquake, he got off the little chip damage with the Iron Head there, so that's nice. And predicting him to switch out here, anticipating my Protect, I'm going to go right for the sub once again. And as he goes into Mienshao, because he saw the pattern, I was going for the Protect and the Iron Head and whatnot, and sort of that little pattern that I had going on there, it kind of broke off the chain, and I can go for the Protect to scout what he goes for. He locks himself in a high jump kick and takes 50% damage, so that is nice. I know though that his Mienshao has Regenerator because I saw my own Ditto heal up, so you know, he'll be able to get some health back there. And then he goes into his Arcanine. I went for the sub once again here, just in case he stayed in. I can get off a fresh sub and Protect once more, but both good plays on either side, I guess. And he's going to go for the Flare Blitz here, breaking my Substitute, as I get to go right for the Toxic. And now that, you know, now take a look, right? Rhyperior is poisoned. That thing is already, like, really weak. Arcanine is now poisoned. This thing is going to get worn down over time. And I can go right for the Protect here to get some more health back, keep Registeel healthy, while doing more chip damage to that Arcanine. And that's how we break down fat mons. That's how we break down the fatter mons there. We just gotta sort of wear them down over time. So we're gonna go here into Ditto. The cool thing about this Ditto is that, versus this squad in particular, is that we're sort of using it as a switch in, as opposed to a sort of a revenge sweeper or something that can switch into I guess a setup mon. But yeah, we switch into Arcanine, we intimidate him using his own ability, and that's great because now we can sort of use this Arcanine because he actually does have Morning Sun on it. I decide to heal up my Ditto and keep it healthy for switching into more mons. So it's a really interesting role to see Ditto play on this team. It can actually switch into certain moves from his Pokemon and force them out. So he goes into Mega Arrow. I'm actually going to switch out of my Ditto. Obviously, I don't want to stay in. It's an Arcanine in that form. So I'm going to go into my Rotom here as he actually reveals the Hone Claws. I figured maybe he'd click like Earthquake or Aerial Ace or something. But yeah, we get to get off the Volt Switch here, the faster Volt Switch, as we are Choice Scarf, do a clean chunk of damage to this Aerodactyl and go right into our Registeel, predicting the Stone Edge, of course. This is a +1 Stone Edge for Mega Arrow, and we take that with ease, get some health back from the recovery from our leftovers. But instead of clicking Protect, I'm going to anticipate him to click Earthquake here and go right back into Rotom, just double right back into it as he clicks Earthquake, so that's nice. And now, expecting him to, of course, realize that I have Volt Switch and that I'm faster, he's going to go Rhyperior. I predict that and get off the Rocks. So Rocks are gone from our side, that's phenomenal. And now Rhyperior has a choice. It can either attack here or it can click Rocks. He could also double, but I don't think he would do that. He decides to click Rocks as I go into my Dugtrio. So Dugtrio has now trapped this thing while keeping my Focus Sash intact. So I can go right here for the Earthquake, pick this Rhyperior off, and that is going to be the first mon down. So already now, you know, we're starting to get into the good parts of this game, right? We're starting to get rid of things one by one, you know, piece by piece. So he goes Mienshao. I don't want my Dugtrio Sash to get broken. I'm going to go here into my Ditto and sort of use Ditto once again to wall Mienshao as he goes right for the U-turn. So I take that decently well. So he's going to switch out here into his Amoonguss, and that's fine. I could literally just do the exact same thing, use Mienshao to pivot myself out. Unfortunately, though, I don't have a switch into a Spore, so I have to Sleep Fodder something. I decided to Sleep Fodder Victini. It's Electrium Z Victini, so I had that mainly for Finny. He didn't have Finny, so I just opted not to, I guess, keep it awake, which is fine. You know, I'm gonna just double out here into my Rotom to try to get rid of the Rocks, but he switches out into Mienshao. He doubles out into Mienshao, or switches out into Mienshao. So I'm like, okay, I can't really defog right now because he has knockoff. Gonna go back into my Ditto to wall Mienshao once again. As you can see, he goes right for the U-turn though, so he's keeping up with the momentum pretty well. You know, he's, I guess, anticipating my switches, my switch outs, and so he goes into Arcanine here on the Mienshao, and that's interesting because even after Intimidate, I know for a fact that Mienshao is going to be able to knock this out with High Jump Kick. So I can High Jump Kick here to knock out Arcanine, and that thing is gone. So that's nice. Even through Intimidate, Mienshao came through. Now he's going to bring in Mega Arrow back. I'm obviously not going to stay in, and I just decide to hard switch out into my Rotom, anticipating maybe an Aerial Ace or something, and he does decide to go right for that. And I'm thinking like he might be very scared of that Volt Switch and not want to stay in, not want to keep one of his biggest offensive threats in at the time. So I just decided to defog here, successfully get off the defog, and rocks are gone. So that is nice. Rocks are never going to be on our side anymore for the entirety of this game. I can go here into my Victini. I figured just sack Victini and then try to win with Registeel or Belly Drum with Azu or something. But he goes in for the U-turn into Kyurem. So I'm like, huh, okay. I still have my Dugtrio stash intact. Let's try to trap something else now. We trapped the Rhyperior. Let's see if Dougie can trap this Kyurem and knock it out. So he goes for the sub. I'm thinking he's probably going to be sub Roost. So I'm going to go ahead and Earthquake here to break the substitute. And that's cool because now we get to get rid of the substitute here. He's going to go right for the Ice Beam. And that is ideal. Very, very ideal. We live thanks to our Focus Sash, of course, keeping ourselves at 1 HP. And then I get to click Reversal. A nice big Reversal to knock out the Kyurem. So that thing is gone. Very nice. And he's going to bring back in the Mienshao. Dugtrio can't really trap anything anymore, so I just decided to sack it here instead of trying to go in or trying to dance around into something else. Kind of risky, so I just decided to make the safe play, sack Dugtrio as he brings in a Amoonguss with the U-turn and go right into my Registeel. So Registeel here is going to be able to just get off a clean substitute on whatever he decides to do. He goes into Aerodactyl, so I'm behind a sub now, and that's great because of the fact that Registeel can just protect to get some health back, of course. I don't think he has Roost or anything, and even if he does, Iron Head's a 2-hit KO on Mega Aerodactyl. So I get some health back here, that's nice. It's the way that I have to keep Registeel healthy. It's not any kind of stall tactic or anything, but just to get recovery back. I did the same thing with Suicune basically last season. So he's going to break my substitute with Earthquake as I get to go for the Iron Head, knock out this Aerodactyl. It does like almost 60%, so this of course always knocks it out. And here he's going to go into his Mienshao, so I'm like, okay, not bad. Protect to see what he locks himself into, right? Obviously. Scarf Mienshao is here. He locks himself in the U-turn. And yeah, I just decide to go ahead and get off the sub safely. There's nothing really he can do. He has 2 mons left being Amoonguss and Mienshao. So I'm behind the sub now. And now that I'm behind the sub, unless he has like the only way that he can break sub easily, or I guess sort of easily, is with like HP Fire or Stomping Tantrum. But either of those can't just break the sub in 1 hit. It needs 2 hits. So yeah, I just go ahead and I'm behind the sub, which is nice. He goes right for the high jump kick here. And I just decided to go ahead and click Iron Head at this point in time instead of just clicking Protect, because I figured if I click Protect to scout what he wants to do, then he would switch out the next turn. But now that I went for the Iron Head, didn't go for Protect, I click Protect now. He stayed in and knocks himself out with the high jump kick. And that is going to be basically checkmate at this point in time because of the fact that Amoonguss cannot touch Registeel at all. I decided to switch out here into my Ditto just to see what moves he had and maybe try to chip this thing down more, because I figured his Amoonguss would be Fizz Def for Azumarill in particular, so maybe Sludge Bombs will be doing more. He has Sludge Bomb, Clear Smog, Giga Drain, and Spore, I think. So his Sludge Bomb doing a bunch more than mine because of my low HP, so I'm like, okay, you know what? This is not going to work out. And I'm going to go back into Registeel. I was thinking to myself, I was like, dang, I wish I kept my Victini awake so that I could just bop this thing in 1 hit. But unfortunately, I didn't keep Victini awake, so I didn't want to go into that to try to wake it up and sack him on or anything, of course. Obviously, that's not the play. So I just decided, the classic substitute with Registeel to avoid him, trying to break Sleep Claws or anything, just in case. And then just Iron Heading it down all the way, which is going to take a while. And I actually did message him at this point. I was like, I'm trying to knock out this Amoonguss. It's too fat. This Amoonguss is too fat. I can't knock it out quick enough. And, thankfully, he realizes that, of course, and forfeits the game at this point in time. The knockout going to Registeel, obviously. And that's going to be GG. It is Emvee. So really solid game. Well played game, I guess, on both sides, because he was, I could see him predicting with Mienshao going for the U-turn and stuff, keeping up momentum. But I don't think he could really sort of follow through with that, because I feel like our team, like, he just didn't really have an answer for the Registeel set. I was like really sort of wondering how I would be able to feature Registeel on the thumbnail for a video, because you sort of need like a more offensive set, or sort of like a set like this to put in work. And this set put in the work. Another really cool thing about this match that I really enjoyed was how we kept using Ditto to wall his team. We kept using Ditto as a switch-in. like mainly, like I said, you see Ditto as a choice card for something like that, something that can, you know, just switch it on a setup mon and start clicking attacks. But in this way, we sort of used it to wall his team. We intimidated his Arcanine, we regenerated it back with Mienshao, switching into knockoffs and U-turns and stuff. And we even used it to knock out his own Arcanine with as we were in his Mienshao form. So that's cool. And Dugtrio, of course, trapping Rhyperior, and Kyurem was also pretty key as well. So overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this match, and yeah, let me know what you guys think, of course. Looking forward to hearing from you all. We are now 4-0 in the league, so of course, GG is sacred. Be sure to check out his channel, of course. He's a really cool dude. I do encourage you all to check him out, and yeah, it's gonna be that. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video. Should be hopefully getting up some Showdown lives this week, and yeah, I'll see you guys for our week 5 battle next week. So peace.